Welcome back to another exciting and thrill-filled adventure with DIY Nautical Dream. Okay, maybe that was a little over the top. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get our next video started. Hi, I'm Rich.
I'm Priscilla.
And together, we're DIY Nautical Dream.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of DIY Nautical Dream. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together we make DIY Nautical
Nautical
Dream. So this week episode we're gonna review the boat that was located at Everett, Washington. It is 1990, 52 feet Endeavour. Go ahead, honey.
Okay, so like she said, it's a 1990 Endeavour, 52 foot, center cockpit, cutter rigged sloop. And yeah, so we found this boat on Craigslist, and I also found it on Yacht World. And it was, the brokerage was Crosswater Yachts, located up in Everett. We kind of had this boat, well, I kind of had this boat on the back of the list for a while. Even back when we were doing the search back over in Florida and through Ohio and Michigan, I kind of had this one on the back burner. I didn't really think we were going to be interested in it too much, so we had other boats we wanted to look at, you know, the ones in Florida and Trinidad, and the one down in San Diego and Ohio and Michigan. So I thought we would maybe take a look at this one last. And we even looked at the Formosa 51 in Anacortes before we looked at this one. So this one was the last one on our list to look at, because we put it last because we weren't really sure if we were going to be interested in it or not. So anyway, so we went, go ahead, we're taking a look at this. The
hang on a second. Take note, as we drive going to look at this boat, he told me, I don't think we're gonna like this boat, but we're still gonna give a try to look at it.
Right. Same thing I said when we were on our way to look at the Pearson 53 in Florida. So it's kind of like the same lines as that. The broker, the owner wasn't there, so he had one of his associates meet us and take us over to the boat. We pull up to the boat. It's in the boatyard up here up at Everett. It's out of the water. It's on the hard. It's been on the hard for so many different stories. Between 6 and 8 years it's been sitting on the hard for. And so when boats go sit on the hard in storage, nothing happens to them. They just sit. They don't do anything with them. They don't turn them over. They don't do any maintenance. They don't do any cleaning. They don't do anything. They just sit, and until they either sell or they continue to deteriorate. So we had no idea what we were going to see when we looked at this boat. So we go ahead and climb up the ladder. It's got a really steep ladder because it's really high out of the water.
And it was pouring rain.
Oh yeah, and it was raining. So our motto is it's best time to look at a boat when it's raining out, because we're going to see if there's any leaks or not in this boat. And so here's our first look at this 1990 Endeavour, 52 feet long, center cockpit. It's a cutter rigged sloop sailboat, and it's also got a wing keel at the bottom, and it has a partially skag hung rudder on it. And when we go to look at the leaky tikis, we prefer if it's raining out, because then we can see where the leaks are and stuff. So we get in, we're up on deck, and we take a look around real quick up on deck and then head inside, because like she said, it's raining out, so we don't want to hang out in the rain. So we go down the Companionway Stairs, and on this boat, I think it's more of a little kind of a ladder going in. It's not too bad, but... Here's a look at the entrance to the Companionway Stairs from the top in the cockpit area, looking downward. And then here you can see the Companionway Stairs as you're heading into the boat. And these are kind of like a little bit of a ladder, but they're not too bad. There is good handholds on the way down and on the way back out, so it feels pretty safe. I don't know how it would feel in like a heavy seaway or something like that, but it's not too bad. We do like the stairway on the Formosas a little bit, but this will work. If we were to make a purchase on this boat, we could probably live with it. It's got a little bit of an angle to it, so it's not super steep like a fireman's ladder or anything like that, but it is kind of got a little bit of steps to it. But they're nice teak steps, nice teak companionway entrance. We get down inside, and right away we're kind of like, wow, this wasn't what we were expecting.
To see.
This is really nice, and man, there's wood everywhere. It's like, it's It's really beautiful, and they're kind of like
We're speechless.
Yeah, we didn't really know what to think, right? So this is some of our first impressions of the boat as we met down below in the interior area with the broker, and Baby and I were just like, wow, this is awesome. We were having to contain ourselves a little bit. We didn't want to like act like we were too in love with this boat. We try not to get emotionally attached anymore, but it was tough because this has all the woodwork we're looking for. It has that old kind of nautical feel inside, even though it's kind of a fairly modern looking hull on the outside, but we were not expecting this kind of a look on the interior. It's big, it's very roomy, it's got a nice little flat screen TV in there, has a surround sound system, it's got all kinds of amenities everywhere, and it's just like, wow, we're really set back. Did not expect this. The floor, it's got the teak flooring in it, it's got all the trim. I don't know what more we could ask for in a boat, but this is pretty nice. The table's a little odd looking, but other than that, it's very bright. There's lots of light let in from all the port lights around the boat, so it gives you that, you know, it's not a dark feeling when you're inside this boat. It feels really big, open, and airy, which is a really nice feeling. So we get in there, we start looking around, we're kind of like getting all giddy and excited. I'm like, hey, the broker's with us, so we need to settle down. This isn't going to go over well. So we start kind of like trying to mellow out a little bit and looking around, and I said, let's just look for things that are wrong. Let's not try to find the good, let's try to find the bad, because we want to try and, if we're going to even do anything with this boat, we want to try and get some things to lower the price. Price was a little high on this boat, so we started looking around, noticed all the beautiful woodwork inside, and also kind of one of the first things I noticed was there are some leaks inside this boat, and there's some damage. So as we were doing our walkthrough in the main salon, I noticed right away over the main couch area there were some pretty steady drips. That's one of the benefits to inspecting a boat on a rainy day. You can see where the leaks are at right away, and these look like they're dripping pretty steady. The other area was right up above where there's a window there, and the paneling looks like it's stained a little bit. I don't know if this is a plywood issue or if it's just needs to be revarnished, but we noticed that right off. So what are your first thoughts when we got inside the boat? What were some of your first thoughts?
Well, I like it, so I went straight to the bedroom.
Oh yeah, I was kind of looking around, and then next thing I know, Baby's missing, and I'm like, whoa, where'd she go? And I see she's in the back bedroom already. Went to the master bedroom, aft cabin. So I go back there and see what she's looking at. And what were you looking at back there?
Bedroom is very nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for whatever we want to do.
It's got a what size is the bed? Do you say it's like a queen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got like a queen size, almost like a pedestal partial walk around bed. So it's not a steamroll bed, which is a huge plus. We can both get on and off the bed from our own side. We don't have to disturb each other, which is really nice. If we're at anchor, I'm always nervous, especially the first night when we're at anchor, and so I'm always getting up like every 20 minutes, every half hour. I automatically wake up and I've got to check to see if we're holding, if we drifted or whatever, and this is the only kind of bed that's really going to be practical for us, because otherwise I'm going to be waking her up all the time, so getting in and out of bed. And so we like that. The bed looked pretty cool. The aft cabin had a lot of teak in there, a lot of wood around there, a lot of wood trim around throughout there. So we really liked that. It had some pretty decent storage. It had a little vanity station for her to sit at and do, what is that, vanitizing? Is that what they do? Is that what you do at a vanity? You vanitize?
Yeah.
Or is it fantasize or vanitize? Something like that. So she has that. It opens up. It's got like 3 mirrors and lights, so she can like totally hang out there, do makeup, selfies, whatever you want to do. It's got all that action going on for her, so she likes that. She's probably like, first time she saw that on a boat, she's probably like, maybe we should get this one.
Well, not just that, Galley is very nice.
Yeah, but we're still in the back bedroom.
So
we're still talking about the back bedroom, okay? We're not even at the galley yet. We're
okay.
Still got to stay on course here, because the boat, we have to walk the layout, right? So we're still in the aft cabin. We're checking that out. It's cool. It's got lots of room. Headroom's good. I'm not going to hit my head walking around back there, which is really nice. It's got lots of port lights. And it almost meets my checklist of having windows in the transom. It has two small ones. They don't open, but it's got two little rectangle port lights back there.
So it's checked just halfway.
Yeah, it's a little
not
light.
all
Yeah,
the way.
little light
Just
checklist.
So here you can see a couple looks at the aft cabin on this boat, and first impression for us was, wow, this is a big aft cabin. Very beautiful. We love all the woodwork in here. Really super nice looking. We were just really impressed at first sight. And it's got the two little windows in the aft bulkhead, so it checks that box for me just a little bit. They don't open and you can't really see out of them that well, so but they're let some light in, I guess, so it would count for windows in the transom. But the bed, it's got plenty of headroom on it. You can get on and off of the bed from either side, which is really nice. There's tons of storage back here. There's lots of opportunities for improvement. It's just aged a little bit on the paneling, and I don't know what it would take to get some of that repaired back into good condition or not, but either way, we're really happy with what we see back here. Very impressed with how much room it has. Baby really likes the vanity area. That's nice as well. And then there's two little countertops on the forward portion of the aft cabin where you could store things, and there's little lights there and stuff. So right now they have a vacuum plugged in there, but yeah, it's really neat. We've got lots of storage. Very impressed. Couldn't ask for a bigger back cabin on a boat this size.
So another plus in the aft cabin area is it has a master bathroom, master head, whatever you want to call it, and it's got like a tub shower back there also, and it has a normal toilet. It's not one of those composting toilets, so that's a huge plus. We definitely like that. It has one of those hand-painted sinks. You can order them from Mexico, and it's really cool. It's a blue one, and it's got blue tile. Looks like blue hand-laid tiles on the floor. They did a really good job with that. So the aft cabin's master bathroom on this boat is nice. It's very roomy, spacious. We can do whatever we need to do back there. One person can be in the shower, one person can be whatever they're doing, getting ready for work or whatever we're going to end up doing on this boat. If we were to buy it, there's room to do everything on there, so that's really cool.
Let's check.
Yep, so the back.
So here's a look at the aft head on this boat, and it has one of those hand-painted sinks that we were talking about. You can get these imported from Mexico. It's really cool. Adds a nice little personal touch to the boat. And then you can see here it's got a normal marine head, and it actually has its own stall shower with a shower curtain and everything that keeps it separate. So that's really nice, because that way you can take a shower if you're living aboard, getting ready for work or whatever, and everything else doesn't have to get wet. It's not a wet head, so that's a big plus. We really like the room in it.
So we walk out of the aft cabin, start heading towards the galley area.
So here's a look at the galley on this boat. As you're leaving the aft cabin looking forward, you can see the doors on the right. Those enter into the engine room, and then to the left is the galley. And this is one of those long galleys where everything's kind of spread out lengthwise on the boat, which is really nice. Some people actually prefer these. I'm still kind of in the middle on them, but Baby seems to like it, and that's what matters. But everything's reachable. There's lots of handholds. There's lots of storage, front and aft, and there's lots of port lights to let lots of natural light in as well. And then it has the freezer refrigerator that are built into the counter at the end. And I'm not necessarily a big fan on those, but hey, they work, and it's something for now. You could always change it later.
And it's a long galley. It's not a U shape or anything like that. It's a long galley.
Long straight.
Yep. And so we take a look at that real quick as we're leaving. Let's go check out the main salon area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're checking out the main salon. Main salon on this thing is huge. It's like as wide as the front room on our house. I mean, it's like, it's big. It's like you kind of forget you're in a boat for a few seconds just because of how roomy it is. So it's pretty cool. It has a table, a dinette table on one side of the main salon where, you know, several people could sit and eat.
Here's another look at the main salon area, just to give you an idea of how big this area is. It's just really big. It's very expansive. It's very wide, and it's pretty long for the size of this boat. It's a pretty good size main area to hang out, and it has a kind of a funky shaped table in here, and we're not sure if we would like that, if we would keep it if we were to purchase this boat. It's something we'd have to look into a little bit more. Maybe it would grow on us and we'd kind of like it later, but right now we're just not sure really what to think of that table. It's kind of odd shape. but who knows what they had in mind when they made it, but it probably worked for them or made sense to the previous owners. And then there's also this ice machine and wine rack area. We're not really sure what to think about that either. It appears like it's just kind of a big waste of space, you know, and space is always a commodity on boats. So I don't know if we would, you know, repurpose that into like a storage locker or something like that, or who knows.
It's got a weird shape to the table. I'm not a fan of that. It seems like we have bad luck when we're trying to find a dinette table on the boat. We, you know, our Sea Ray had a horrible table on that. Our Sailboat had a lame table on it. But it's fixable. Yeah, that's all those things are fixable, but we never find one that has a nice table on it. So we're just used to that. The other side of the main salon has it looks like a wine cellar, an ice maker. It's got a flat screen TV. It has, it's got all kinds of little storage over there. And it has a Bose surround sound system built into it. Behind the TV, there's some kind of a computer or something he showed us. A little home theater system built into it. So
one of the things we found while we were looking around on this boat was it's got this flat screen TV mounted over here on the wall. And then the TV has a little hinge. It's mounted on a hinge and it opens up. And behind the TV is the entertainment system. There's a DVD player back there. There's this square computer thing installed below the DVD player. And then there's also a slot to insert a disc and everything else. Well, turns out there's a wireless keyboard inside the Nav Station, the flip-up lid of the Nav Station. And the wireless keyboard controls this computer from across the room. And it'll pull up on the screen of the TV navigation charts and all kinds of other things. So you can use this computer in the boat to pull up navigation charts or whatever while you're out at sea if you want to save those in advance before you can lose signal or whatever. So that was kind of interesting.
So that was pretty cool. We're just kind of like trying to take all this in, yeah. And then
has everything that will make you a touch.
Yeah, and then on the other side, back on the side where the dinette table is, there's a nav station there. And the nav station's pretty well laid out. It looks like for the age of the boat, the electronics that were on here were modern at the time, but you know, our electronics really age fast. So these were all mostly out of date. It had the VHF. It has the fuel gauge on there. It has a water level gauge. So that's cool. Looks like it's pretty nice. Has a flip up lid on the nav station, which was nice. All really nice looking wood. And then
so here's a look at the navigation station desk area on this boat. And it's pretty much dedicated to navigation. It's got the radios. It's got your fuel tank monitoring gauges on there. And it also looks like it has a small depth gauge on the right. The radios look like they're pretty well set up on this boat. I'm not a radio guy or a communications guy, so this would be something I have to learn about and make sure that this is what we would need. But it looks like it's pretty well put together. A couple of radios on here, I have no idea what they're for. One of the other nice things we like about this area is it has its own little dedicated chair that's mounted on a pedestal to the floor. I think this area would make a nice weather station in the future if we were to purchase this boat.
And then if you were to take a right as you're looking at the nav station, there's a door there you can open, and that goes back into a little office, which has another table, full length of the room table that also has a flip up lid on it. There's a bookshelf looking right above it, and it has all the manuals for all the systems that are installed on the boat, and the ship's log and all that stuff's in there. So that's kind of cool. If you're looking at the bookshelf, right to your right is where all the control panel, the electrical control panel, the inverter interface panel, all that stuff is in there.
So just a little aft of the nav station, there's a doorway that leads into a room, and it has another bench back there, which I don't know if it was designed to be a small sleeping quarter or if it's another office or what it is, but back in here is where the electrical control panel, the distribution panel's back here. This is also where you access to turn on and off the generator, monitor the voltage. The inverter output is in there also, and there's all the manuals that come with the boat. So this looks like a pretty nice area back here. It is a bit of a waste of space. I think this could be a nice sleeping quarter, but it's just a little short for that. But either way, it'd make a nice little study room for sure. And it gives you access to the other side of the engine as well from in here. Still unable to locate any battery switches where you can turn on and off the battery banks.
It was weird because I'm looking for battery switch and I can't, so far I haven't been able to locate the battery switch to turn the batteries on or off. So that was a little bit odd, but I figure we'll find it when we're looking somewhere else. So just kind of left that alone and left out of the office room or electronics room, whatever you want to call it, left out of there, back into the main salon. And we started to head forward just from the main salon. And as we were passing by, we noticed where the mast comes through the opening in the headliner. There's a lot of streaking around the mast. The trim is hanging down around the mast. It's very obvious there's a leak going on there. So that's kind of one of the first things we really noticed. We're just kind of like, wonder what that's all about. Yeah. But we just kind of figured whatever, right? At this point, we're not going into it that deep. Made a little mental note. Continue.
So here's a couple looks at the mast we were talking about. You can see where the mast transitions through the headliner and up on through the deck. It looks like the teak is definitely hanging down there. The screws have pulled out, and it appears as though the vinyl is kind of shrinking away from the seam as well. So that's probably a sign there's some moisture action going on up in there. Not sure what's happening there, but it's definitely some kind of a leak around the mast, probably the base up on the deck. But you know, who knows? It's probably not that big of a problem to fix it. And then here you can see some of the streaking going down the mast. So that's something we'd want to look at. I don't know if it's a deal breaker or anything like that, but we definitely want to take a look at that a little bit closer if we were going to get serious about this boat.
Continued looking forward, and just past of the mast is a door you go through, and it enters into like another forward half of the boat. And to your right is a shower with its own shower stall, shower curtain, and then there's a wash machine dryer combo thing there tucked in under the shelf.
So as we're heading forward from the mast area, you head forward, there's an opening, a doorway, and you pass through there, and directly on the right is a wash machine area, and it's also a shower stall. So this is where you would take a shower if you were a guest on the boat or staying in the forward cabin area. This is where you'd shower, and this is also the place where people would do their laundry and washing and things like that. So it's a pretty nice little area. And then you can see here where one of the opening port lights in that same area has been leaking and streaking down onto the wood. So every one of the port lights in this boat seem like it's leaking. So something to think about later.
Wow, that was really cool. We didn't expect that. So that was a plus. And then so we're like looking at that thinking, this is pretty neat. You could totally take a shower in here. And it's all its own shower stall. It's not a wet head. It's not going to get the floor wet. So this boat has 2 showers on it. Neither one of them are wet heads, which is a big plus. Straight across the hallway from the shower is the head, the bathroom. And it's got a nice little counter in there. It's got a decent toilet in there, and it has a little bit of room in there to do whatever you need to do. It has its own door to shut for privacy. And so that was cool. It had storage compartments in there as well, and a mirror and some lighting and everything. It was really had a port light in there too, so it was pretty cool. And it had these little small opening hatches in the ceiling, so that was kind of nice also.
So here's a look at the forward head on this boat, and it's pretty well set up. It's got a little bit of decent room for a forward head, and it has a normal marine toilet on there, so that's nice, not a composting toilet. And it has a sink and a teak grate for the floor. But this is not the side where you would take a shower or anything like that, so it's not one of those wet heads.
Then we proceeded forward from the bathroom shower area, which leads into the V-berth area, right? And we go in there, and oh my gosh,
it's even bigger than
this. Isn't a V-berth.
Back.
This is like another master bedroom in this boat. It's totally not a V-berth. It's another regular, almost another full shape bed, like a queen size bed up there. And you can get on it from either side as well, or the end. Plus it has storage underneath. Has all kinds of nice wood cabinetry on both sides that you have storage. They all open up and they all have storage in them. We're like, wow, this is crazy. So And it's all full headroom too. You can walk in there and you won't bump your head or anything. So
another plenty of room.
Yeah, it's got totally, you know, I mean, you could probably stand up on the bed and not hit your head on the ceiling, but if not, pretty close. So it's got just tons of room in there, all full headroom all the way in, which is, I mean, we were blown away on that. We expected some small dinky little V-berth where the center section has to be put in to make it into like a place 2 people could sleep. But this is a full bed. And we're just like, wow, looking at each other like, wow, this is kind of wild. So we're like surprised with everything we see.
So here's a couple pictures of the forward V-berth on this boat, and it's really not a forward V-berth. It's actually a forward cabin. And look at the size of that bed, and it's a high-up bed. It's got its own walk-around on either side, so you can get on and off this bed like a normal bed. Makes it easy for making and changing the sheets and things like that. And then it has storage cabinets along both sides of the bed. It's got nice, beautiful ceiling, curved wood paneling up on top. The ceiling headliner looks like it's in really good shape. It's a little dark in there. There are no port lights, or there's one main hatch over the top, but it has a cover on it. But so that would probably be the only one thing that might be a negative, is there's no actual lights opening port lights or anything like that in there. But man, what a beautiful space.
So I'm like, all right, let's just settle down here.
Let's look at the bedside.
We got to start looking for what's going on here. This boat's been sitting a long time. There's going to be some stuff. And yeah, so as soon as we started looking, we started noticing a lot more stuff. As soon as we kind of get those rose-colored glasses off, we start seeing what's really going on. And sure enough, there's a lot of the leaks around. I think every port light in the main salon and aft cabin and in the galley and overhead hatches, I think every one of those leaks. And the wood paneling below them, every one of them has water staining or rots or a combination thereof.
So here we'll take a look at a couple examples of some of the water damage we've seen from the leaking port lights throughout the boat. Now we don't know if this is permanent damage or if this is something they'll clean up with sanding and some varnish, maybe some type of water stain remover or whatever. We're new to all this, so we're going to have to discover it along the way if we were to purchase this boat. And probably no matter what boat we purchase, we're going to run across things like this, so we have to just kind of figure out how to fix it. But some of this looks like it's a little bit more than water damage. Maybe the paneling needs to be replaced, or I'm not sure how we'd go about tackling it, but you know, you can see it throughout the boat. And I don't know if this is something we could use to go to contract on if we were going to try to negotiate a purchase on this boat. And it's just something we'll have to keep in the back of our minds to decide if this is worth getting involved in or not.
So all the trim in the inside around the windows is all, from what I can tell at this point, looks like it's all garbage. It's all got to come out. So that's kind of a big bummer. That's a lot. That looks like it looks like a lot of work, I guess. All the overhead hatches also have water marks around them where they've been leaking as well. And then in the galley, the overhead vinyl has been getting wet year after year after year. And it's opening more and more and more. The vinyl looks like it's shrinking over time, and it's just totally separated.
So here's a couple examples of what we're talking about with the headliner in the galley area. If you look right here, you can see the vinyl is splitting and it's shrinking over time, and it appears as though there's quite a bit of moisture going on up above there. The thing that's hard to tell is this just cosmetic, or is there something more to the story going on there? We're kind of leaning on the fence, the side of the fence that says this is probably just more cosmetic than structural. So we just don't know without really digging into it. And at this time we can't do that because it's not our boat. So we just have to kind of wonder if this is something we want to get involved in or not. What do you think?
I took a real quick look with my flashlight on my phone up into the gap, and all I saw was wood that looked like it had been rotted, but I didn't know what that means. I don't know how bad that is. So maybe it's easy to fix. Really just not sure. So we just kind of figured it's probably more cosmetic than anything else, which is cool. You know, if that's the case, then that's not a big deal. Most of this, maybe the paneling around the port lights might be the hardest part on this boat. Not sure, right? So we looked around, took a look in the engine room. The engine room on this boat is like 2 big doors open up in the galley, and you have all the access in there to the engine and the generator, and it's got a Yanmar turbo diesel main engine on there. Not real familiar with the Yanmars, so I've been doing most of my studying on the Ford Lehman, so not sure if the Yanmars are good or not, and it's turbo, so turbo always kind of scares me away on, especially on a marine engine, but you know, everybody seems to think they're all right. So if you know any different, then let me know if you have any experience with them. Not sure on that. And then the generator is looks like it's a diesel generator, and it looks like it's a pretty good sized generator, so I think it's 7 kilowatts or something like that, so that's pretty good size. So the engine room, you know, there's like around the engine mounts, it looks like there's some surface rust on there, but all in all.
So here we take a look at a couple pictures of the engine room, and the first picture here, we're looking at the access doors to the right. Those both open up and you have full access. I mean, you could walk in there and stand on the engine with the amount of access you have through those doors. It still doesn't make it super easy to work on the engine because you would have to get down on your knees and lean over the engine, things like that, but it does provide a lot of top end access to the engine, to the heat exchanger, to the starter, to the raw water pump, things like that. So it is really great for maintenance. It also gives you access to other aspects of the boat, not just the engine, but your main water pump's in there, your water maker is in there. It also provides great access to the bottom of the main helm, steering helm that's up in the upper cockpit, to run wires and cables for navigation equipment, electronics, things like that. And also you have full access to all your steering cables that come off the helm and lead aft, so that's really cool. Your blower motor's in here. It also has a power on-off battery type switch specifically to the engine and one to the generator. But these don't turn on and off the main battery banks. These just turn power on and off to the engine and generator themselves. But yeah, you have good access to the generator as well, so that's really nice. And even the starter on the generator is easily accessible. So yeah, they had really good maintenance in mind when they designed this engine compartment for this boat. And that's one of the things we like about it. Baby likes it as well, because she knows I'll be working on these boats one day or another. We'll be working on it, and it's usually not in a fun location when it happens. So yeah, we thought this was a big plus. I know that it's not everything, but it is really nice to have good access to your engine compartment, because there are going to be days where you need to do maintenance or troubleshooting. This also has really good access to all the main wire harnesses that run from the engine and the generator and head forward or aft throughout the boat, or directly to the back access of the electrical control panels that are in the electrical room. So this is where, if you're going to run systems, this is where it's going to start and lead forward or aft. So it's good access for that.
All in all, everything in the engine room looked like it was pretty good for the condition the boat's been in for the last 6 to 8 years of sitting in storage with no maintenance, no running, nothing. So yeah, and it looked like there's a water maker in there also. I have zero experience with water makers, so I don't know if that's a good thing or not. If it's a good one, or if it's too old, outdated, if it's no good, not worth it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we just kind of like checked that list and thought, well, at least it's an above the floor engine room. Looked at the propeller shaft seal boot. Looked like it was pretty good. I noticed there was some clamps were broken on that. The hose clamps that hold it tight looked like they were broken, so whatever.
So here's a couple looks at where the propeller shaft exits out through the back of the hull. And so yeah, it looks like it's one of those dripless shaft seals on there. And our last two boats had the shaft seals that had the packing material in them, where you had to keep the nuts with a significant amount of pressure on them to stop the leaks, but just to a drip coming in. This one looks like it's a dripless, so we don't have any experience with that, so that's something we'd have to learn a little bit more about. And then also here you can see the clamps that are going around it are broken, and a couple of them are not broken, but they probably will be in the near future. So that'd be something we'd have to probably look into. And then also it looks like there's a bonding strap below that's pretty green, so I don't know if that's good or if that would need to be replaced as well, but all kinds of things like that throughout this boat.
And then we quit looking in the engine room. We decided to start looking under the floorboards and that's where it looks like where they have the batteries is right down the center line in the bilge area. So that's kind of weird, and still can't find any battery switch to cut off the battery power. So
here's a look at the bilge area with the floorboards lifted up, and this is where one of the large battery banks is at, and the other battery bank is under one of the settee cushions. But yeah, so they have I believe there's 6 batteries underneath the floor here, in which, as you can see, they're very hard to see, which means they're really going to be hard to get out and do any kind of maintenance on them. So for me, I don't think this is one of my favorite locations where I would put them if it was our boat, but this is the way they did it, so it must have worked and been functional the way it is. But still, we were unable to find or locate any battery switches to turn on and off any of the house bank battery power. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that was what we were seeing. And yeah, so the batteries on this boat are probably quite aged because the boat's been sitting for so long. And we also noticed the bilge was pretty full of water almost all the way up to the bottom of the batteries. So that tells me the bilge pump's probably not working on this boat.
Yeah, so it's got some batteries in the center line of the keel, you know, below the floor, and the bilge was full of water, like almost up to the bottom of the batteries. And this water looks like it's been sitting there for a while, so that's kind of like, And the boat's not in the water, it's on the hard, so all that water is coming in there from somewhere, from probably the leaks or whatever, I don't know. And so yeah, we're starting to kind of make a little mental list of the little red flags we're seeing. We're not quite sure if these are big flags or little flags, but we're seeing a few things. So then we start lifting up some of the seat cushions to see what's going on under the seats, and on the left side of the boat, under the seat cushions on that side, there's some more batteries. It looks like there's like 4 more batteries, and they appear to be 6-volt batteries, so that must be the house bank. And then the floorboard must be the other house bank, so I'm assuming there's 2 battery banks in this boat. So
here we're taking a look at the other battery bank underneath the settee cushion, and also underneath there they have the fuel tank control valve, so you can switch on and off the return and the flow from the fuel tanks. So that's kind of neat to have that in there. It looks like it's pretty well organized. And then the battery charger is in there also, which is nice, and it's labeled. And then you have looks like 4 of the 6-volt golf cart batteries are linked together down there as well. So at least here, this battery bank is a lot easier to get to than the one under the floor. So that's a big plus. So while we're at it looking around, we pulled up the floorboard access covers to the fuel tank and to some of the water tanks, and we took a look at those, and surprisingly the tanks look like they're in pretty good condition. I mean, all we're being able to see is just that small section through the access cover, but at least everything's labeled. The hoses look good. You can reach the fuel sending unit, and you can see there's a gauge on top of the tanks for the water tanks. So that's kind of really nice because that gives you quick access to see if the water tank is full or not. And then here you can reach the access cover to get inside the tank and actually look inside to see if your fuel is contaminated or if there's debris floating around there, or if you get any kind of the diesel fungus growing in there and things like that. At least you can get access to it fairly easy. I don't think removing the tanks would be easy, but at least getting access to look at them looks fairly easy.
So we said, okay, let's go ahead and go up on deck, go up in the cockpit, check everything out up there. So that's what we did, and we went up the companionway stairs up into the cockpit, and the cockpit on this boat looks pretty nice. It's got all Raymarine electronics. They're all pretty old and outdated. They look like they were probably top of the line back in the day, but they're way past their prime now, so no big deal. I mean, if they work, that's fine. It looks like it has enough electronics to suit us for the time being.
So here's a look at the Helm Station on this boat, and you can see it's got the nice wood ship's wheel on there, which we really like that. We think that's pretty cool. And then you can see the Raymarine navigation electronics suite there that they have, and it's aged and dated, so if they worked, that'd be great. If they didn't, it probably wouldn't be that bad, because I think if we bought this boat, we'd want to upgrade to something newer, maybe B&G electronics, something like that. But hey, at least it looks nice and it's well laid out. I like how it's got all the covering around them and everything like that, so that's pretty nice.
Just aft of the main cockpit area Has a really nice stainless steel radar arch. Looks like it has satellite TV dome on it. Has a dinghy hanging from it. And
so as we head aft to the cockpit area there, you can see the aft deck, and then there's a radar arch, stainless steel radar arch there, and that's also supporting the dinghy. It's got dinghy davits hanging off the back, and you can raise and lower them with 2 people. And then also it has an outboard motor swing away mount on it too. That's really nice. And then there's also a barbecue back there too. So it's got a lot of action going on the back deck where that arch is. It also has on top, it has a satellite TV dome on there, and a bunch of other little things, and some night LED lights too, like floodlights. So lights that it could light up the whole back deck area there. Pretty nice. Looks like somebody put some time and thought into putting that together, and it turned out really well.
so that was cool. And the other nice thing is it's a like a partial sugar scoop transom. So you can actually walk down the stairs on the back of the transom and get into the water that way. So that's cool. I mean, if we wanted to do diving off of this boat, I think one person could go in and out of the water with their diving gear on from back there at a time. So it's not ultimate, but it's better than no transom, no sugar scoop transom at all.
So here's a look at the mini sugar scoop transom this boat has, and it's not a really deep sugar scoop like some of them, but it's enough to where it makes it easy to get in and out of the water if you're going to do any kind of swimming or snorkeling, or like we like to go scuba diving, or even to get on and off the dinghy. At least it's easier that way, so you're not having to climb over the side of a high freeboard type boat like this. And you can see that it has the windows in the transom like we were talking about before. And also, if you notice the trim, the wood trim around here, it's for as long as this boat has been sitting, the wood doesn't look all that bad. I think it could be brought back and saved with a little bit of work and care. But yeah, so there's some pluses. As much as there are negatives, there's also a lot of pluses on this boat. So we're just kind of absorbing it all in right now.
The decks look like they were okay, in pretty good shape. You know, like we said, it was raining out, so we're not like going to totally scrutinize this thing at the time. So we're just doing a real quick general visual inspection, and if anything strikes us, we'll look at it closer, but otherwise we're just kind of passing through because it's raining out.
So here we are on the left side of the hull looking forward, and so far you can see the decks look pretty good. We didn't do any tap testing or nothing like that, but we walked the decks and did not feel any or notice any soft spots or anything that would give us concern, like the deck was soft in that spot or anything like that. We didn't notice anything like that. And then here's the deck. Here you are on the deck looking aft on the left side of the hull. And yeah, again, it looks pretty good. It's dirty because the boat's been sitting for years without being washed or maintained at all, but still we didn't notice anything on the deck that would give us cause for alarm, like a soft spot or anything like that. And then here's the aft deck, and this is actually right over the top of the aft main cabin, and these are both of the hatches that let in light back in there. And both these hatches probably leak, but you know, they can be fixed. And then here we are on the right side of the hull looking forward, and you can see again that they got the access covers there for some storage lockers, and maybe a propane locker or something like that is in there. But again, we walked this part of the deck back here. We did not notice anything that would give us cause for alarm, like a soft spot, or didn't see any major cracking. We did notice a little bit of spider cracking here and there around some of the fittings, and you know, anytime where there's a hinge or a hatch lid or a cutout for a hatch, we did notice some of that a little bit here and there, but that's pretty common on a boat for its age. And then we're walking closer towards the bow of the boat, and still didn't notice anything that would make us think there was a soft spot or any delamination. Also, this boat has several access points on the deck for putting fuel and water in to the several tanks that are down below. Here we're looking at the bow of the boat, and this is actually over the top of the forward main cabin. And we didn't notice any areas of soft spots there either. Nothing that would give us cause to think that there was any rot in the core or anything like that. But that doesn't give the definitive answer. We'd still need somebody to survey it or do a hammer test on it to make sure. But this is at the bow of the boat looking aft, and you can tell this is just a really big boat. And it looks like it back in its day was a really nice boat. So who knows, maybe it'll clean up.
Walking around on the decks, the deck feels solid. The decks feel really good. I didn't feel any soft spots or any soft areas where we were walking.
But it's not Teak deep like your favorite.
No, it's definitely not a Teak deck. It's, you know, this is more of a newer type style boat, so it doesn't have any real woodwork out on the deck. It does have the Teak cap strip all the way around to the top. You know, that's kind of cool, where it covers up the hull to deck joint area. The rigging turnbuckles look nice. I didn't see any high levels of patina on them, so nothing that would make me think there's anything too dangerous to worry about on there. And the rigging looked like it had, the turnbuckles looked like they had lots of room to adjust for tension. So this rigging doesn't look like it's done its full stretch. It's not maxed out on adjustment. So that was good. We like that.
So here we're looking at some of the examples of the rigging turnbuckles on this boat. And you can see they still have quite a bit of stretch left in them. They're not all maxed out on their turns. And so that's a good sign. Some of them have more left in them than others. Some of them have turned more, but I guess maybe this rig might have stretched more in other spots, or maybe they've replaced pieces of it and not all of it. Hard to tell. I'm not a rigging expert or anything like that, so I would definitely not be the person to check with on that one. I'd get with an expert rigging surveyor and have them give us a good overview explanation of it. But yeah, so otherwise it looks pretty good. We don't see any rust or any cracks on any of the turnbuckles. Some of them have a little bit of patina on them, but nothing major. So maybe this rig's okay. Maybe it has a little bit of life left in it for maybe a year or two of sailing, and then maybe it's time to upgrade. I don't know. I'd have to get with an expert. We'd have to check with a surveyor to find out for sure. And then one of the other things that we noticed is this boat has running backstays on it.
Up forward where the anchor area is, of course, there's no bowsprit on this boat, but there is like an anchor pulpit that extends out just a little forward of the very forward section of the bow, and it has two really big anchors up front. It has a electric windlass up there for the anchors, and it has a nice anchor locker up at the top.
So here we're taking a look at the very forward portion of the boat, the bow, and there's the anchor locker there with those two doors, and that's where the anchor chain is stored there. And it's got two sets of anchor chain, one for the left anchor, one for the right anchor. And this anchor pulpit up here actually manages two anchors at a time, so that's kind of cool. So if one lost setting, or if you had to ditch one, or you were in a storm and you needed to set more than one anchor, that's a really nice option to have. And then the forward portion here is the actual anchor slide, or whatever you want to call it, the anchor pulpit. And then you can see where your roller furling actually attaches there too. So that's kind of nice. It's stainless. It's not all rusted or corroded, so it looks like it's in pretty good shape.
The other thing I noticed while up on deck is it has a nice big dry storage locker, which must be forward of the forward bulkhead in the forward main forward cabin area. There is a on the outside of the hull, you can lift this big metal plate up, and it gives you access all the way down into like a, must be a sail locker or something like that. We wanted him to open it up. He said he didn't know how, so we didn't get a chance to open that. I wanted to see in there, but we never did get to look in there. So I don't really know exactly what was in there, but I assume that's a sail locker, or maybe crew quarters or something down there. I have no idea, because he didn't seem like he didn't seem like he knew how to open it, or he didn't want to open it. So that always kind of makes me wonder why they don't want to open it, or why they act like they don't know how. But we just said whatever, you know, how bad, what could it be in there that could be something to worry about? So we just figured everything's fine.
Here's a look at that hatch cover we were talking about. It's made out of diamond plating material, and it's got some fasteners holding it down. So we were just kind of curious as to what's going on in there. The broker guy that was showing us the boat didn't want to really open it up, or maybe he didn't know how. Don't really know for sure. We didn't get a chance to look in there.
Looking around on the deck up front, still didn't detect any soft spots. Didn't feel anything unusual. There was some spider cracking around some of the deck joints where like the chain plates would come out, stuff like that, but it didn't look like anything bad. No big deal. The rigging looked good. The rigging cables looked good. The mast looked like it was in okay shape. It looked like it's really dirty from all the years of just sitting. Looks like it's got green
Moldy.
green mold or green algae or something just kind of growing up the side of the mast. The boom, it's got a really big main boom on there, and it had a sail bag that looked like it had far outlived its life expectancy. It was ripped open from years. It was zipped shut, but the zipper came apart, and so the main sail is exposed to the elements. It's not being protected at all. And so we kind of figure the main sail is probably a lost cause. So.
Here's a look at the sail bag, or the stack pack as some people will call it, on the main boom here. And this is what houses the mainsail in there and it's supposed to protect it from the elements. Clearly this one has failed over the years, and the zippers and the threads and the material is all pulling apart. And now moisture and the elements have been able to settle down onto the mainsail year after year. So who knows what the condition is of that mainsail, but I would assume it's probably not going to be serviceable.
We're kind of trying to do a mental note of what all's wrong with this boat. I've been doing a lot of talking. What did you think?
I like it. It's good.
Well, what do you like about it? What are some of the highlights that you liked
The highlights?
Far? Yeah.
Well, the galley.
Yeah.
It's check. It's long check.
You like the long galley?
Yeah.
I thought you liked the horseshoe style.
It's a really nice galley. It's not necessary to be a horseshoe.
Okay. Horseshoe. Yeah. All right.
And then the engine area.
Yeah, you plan on doing a lot of work on the engine?
No, but I don't want to see you struggle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's a plus. And
then
then
at least I care.
Yeah. So what else?
The 2 bedrooms.
Yeah. Surprisingly, both bedrooms on this boat, I would take either one. We could use either one to live in. I mean, they're both really big.
Yeah. So it checks a lot of stuff to me. I'm not sure about yours. Well, at least there's 2 windows at the back.
In the
it
transom,
checks
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It checks a lot in my favor.
Yeah. I don't know what you think about the wood on the inside.
I like it.
Yep.
The wood is really nice. Might not be outside.
Right.
But inside it's really nice.
The teak rub rail was nice. It did have that. I also noticed some cracking around the cleats on the deck. The midship cleats had some cracking around them. It's a 1990. It's not perfect. It doesn't have any teak on it to hide its flaws.
But you can always do it if you want to.
Yeah. So, you know, we have this vision. If we had bought a boat like this, if we bought the Pearson, or if we bought this boat or one like this, we would just teak the decks on it. I know everybody kind of cringes when they hear us say that, but we like teak decks.
What else you like? What do you think?
I think it looks pretty good.
Oh, hang on. Did you tap test?
No tap test. We're not going to do a tap test. We're not going to, have the rigging checked or anything like that on a walkthrough. That's the kind of thing we would do maybe with a surveyor or something. Yeah. But at this stage, we're just doing a walkthrough, a general visual inspection. Want to see anything major that maybe is going to scare us away, or something we can maybe use to negotiate on the if we went to contract with it or something like that. But
yeah, because it's very high price.
It is high price, but it doesn't look like we could find a lot of things. I mean, so far everything I saw, the
major one was the.
But it all appears to be cosmetic, so it doesn't look like it goes there very far in. Yeah. So it's probably just maybe paneling or something underneath.
Yeah, well, it's very reasonable project.
And we are looking for a project boat, so this would definitely.
It's not a lot.
Yeah,
to what we see anyway.
Yeah, it looks like it's in our skill set. It looks like something we could do. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not super hard. It's not like advanced, experienced. You got to be a shipwright to work on this boat. It looks like something we could kind of figure our way through and maybe learn as we go type deal.
Here's a couple areas where we thought there might be some water intrusion down below into the inside of the boat. And the first area we kind of noticed was around the mast base. And it looks like this mast base has what's called spar tight, holding the mast steady through the cutout in the deck where it proceeds down into the hull, because it's a keel step mast. So we think that spar tight, or whatever that material is holding it steady, has maybe, exceeded its lifespan and is starting to allow water to penetrate past it. So maybe that needs to be cleaned out. And then the other area there is at the forward of the cockpit, there where the lines are leading through that cutout. looks like there might be some leaks or some cracks in the gel coat, or maybe possibly into the fiberglass, and that could be what's causing the water to get into the main salon area or the galley.
So yeah, so we kind of wrapped up our looking around up on the deck and the inside of the boat, and we proceeded to go back down and take a look at it from down on the ground level and look at the hull. And the hull looked like it was in pretty good shape. The bottom paint looked like it was had been put on at some point, either right after they hauled it out or sometime right after they hauled it out.
Yeah, but it's not bad.
No, it looked like it was really good. So I mean, it has a chalky feeling to it from being out in the elements for all these years, but it's thick. It's not been, didn't have any barnacles or any marine growth on it or anything like that. I didn't see any blisters as I went and looked. I didn't get real deep into it, but everything I saw looked pretty good, with the exception of one area where there was a jack stand pad had touched the hull, and either the paint was wet or it smudged or something, but it left a really big square area on the hull paint.
So what do you prefer when looking at the boat? On the water or it's out the water?
Oh, for preference when we're looking at a boat, I think the best thing to do is look at a boat when it's out on the hard. Because we can see the bottom, we can see the hull, we can see if it's got a keel, if it has a keel on it like this one does. We can see the keel, we can see the rudder. What type of rudder? Is it a skag hung rudder? Is it a, you know, post supported rudder, or what is it, fin rudder?
Yeah, all
that kind of stuff. So we can see all that. This is actually a partial skag hung rudder, which is nice for blue water cruising.
So in short, we can see what we wanted to see.
Yeah, you can see the whole thing, which is really nice.
Okay.
So we like that. On the inside.
So here's some views of the boat as we saw it when we were looking at it. It was wet and raining out, but as you can see, the boat's on the hard. It's been in this spot for about 6 to 8 years without moving. So it's just been sitting here wasting away in the weather. And you can see that it's also a wing keel on it. And so that was kind of interesting. We did not expect that until we saw it in person. And so that's what that looks like. And I guess that's there for, it provides really good balance and stability, low center of gravity. But it also would allow this boat to get into little shallower areas due to the fact that the keel is not like 7 or 8 feet long. So that's kind of a plus. And generally the hull looks like it's in pretty good condition. We didn't really see anything majorly that kind of raised any red flags with us. There is this one spot where the pad on the jack had been placed maybe when the paint was wet or something, or hadn't fully cured, and it kind of smudged and left smudge marks on the paint, on the bottom paint, but it's not a big deal. It's not structural, nothing like that. All in all, the hull looked like it was in pretty good condition. Did not see any blisters or anything like that. It's a partial skag hung rudder, so that's good for blue water cruising, things like that. It's not going to bust off as easily as a post hung rudder would be, so we like that about it. All in all, I think it's pretty nice looking from the exterior. It's clear that it's been sitting a while.
The boat's very attractive. It's got a really nice look to it. It's very wide. It's really long. She's kind of got some hips on her, which is nice. Yeah, got a nice shape. Kind of a little thick in the middle, and nice and long, and got a really attractive look to it from the side profile. So yeah, I think it's pretty nice. We try not to get too excited about it, because by this time in our search, we've looked at like, oh man,
8?
No, we've looked at more than that. I mean, we're just the ones we've reviewed on our videos, but we've looked at more than that. We just didn't get serious about them. But so by now we've looked at so many boats, we're kind of like, don't want to get our hopes up. We just say, okay, we'll put this on our short list, and that's what we agreed to do, right?
Yeah. So Pearson, and this is my top list. Yep.
So the Pearson's high on my list as well. This is a very similar style boat to the Pearson. It, you know, the modern, it's kind of the same era, same style. Layout is very similar, not exactly the same, but the layout is very similar. I think if I had to say, I think the Pearson is nicer looking on the inside than this one, but maybe not by much.
Yeah,
so.
And then you gotta remember, you might say on purpose, I'm not sure, Pearson, you said, oh, I don't think you like or will like this boat, because you almost did not make it happen that we're gonna see the Pearson.
Yeah, we almost skipped it, right?
And this one, you said, oh, I don't think we're gonna like it.
Yeah, and we almost skipped this one as well, just because it was raining out and we just didn't feel like going and looking at another boat.
And it was after work too that we went.
Yeah, we drove all the way up to Everett after work, so that's a long drive in the rain. It'll be on our short list for sure.
Yeah, I mean, still, all in all, to all the boat that you said we might not like it or we don't like it, to me, I like it.
Yeah. And there's always that, we got to compromise, you know, we got to be in this together, and it can't be all my way. It can't be all your way. We got to meet in the middle somewhere. So we'll put this on our short list for sure. We will go back home and, you know, do like we always do with all the other boat pictures, is study them, scrutinize it, see if we can find what we're missing in some of the pictures, things like that. We always zoom in on them.
A lot of things to consider.
Yeah. That's why we take more pictures instead of video, because we can always look at the pictures and zoom in on them, things like that. And so after this is our last boat we're going to look at this point where we're at in our search. What we'll do is we're going to start deciding which ones we're going to be serious about and start making offers on them. And we'll see, we're going to make low offers, and we'll see if any of it gets any kind of traction. And we will go from there. If none of these boats work out, we will have to start all the way over again, and we'll have to start building a list of more boats to look at. So
no, stay tuned, guys. Next video we're gonna reveal which boat we're gonna offer.
Okay,
right,
I'll go with that. Yeah, so like I said, we're gonna put offers on it. We're gonna reveal which one we're putting an offer on, and we will see how it goes. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and announce the boat we're making an offer on next video, and we will work through the process and exhaust it. If it doesn't work out, then hopefully some of the other boats on our short list will still be available, and we will just go down the line and see how it works out. We'll go with our favorite. If it's available, we'll go with it. If it's not,
doesn't work,
then we just work on down the line. We're going to rate these in a rating system, and we will go from there. So
Pearson,
what?
Endeavour. That's my first list.
What about Formosa? What about, let's find a CT-54?
Well, that's to me. Up to you. What's your first list?
Oh man, that's tough. I'm not going to say anything till next video.
Trinidad.
I'm not going to say anything till next video. So anyways, stay tuned. We are working through this process, and we are almost done with boat shopping. So, and then we can go straight into DIY mode and really start doing what we really want to be doing. So I'll tell you this, boat shopping is not easy.
But it's fun.
It is fun. I'm not downplaying that at all. I mean, hey, this is awesome. We're actually walking the steps of pursuing our dream. And for me, this has been a childhood dream since I even knew what a boat was. So to be doing this and actually living our dream and taking the steps, one step at a time, trying to go forward with this is awesome. It's amazing. It's fun. It's heart-wrenching. It's not easy. And it has twists, turns, and disappointments. But all in all, we're living the dream, and we're walking through it step by step. Hand in hand, we're together with this all the way through, and we will work it out. And so, yeah, it's fun. And we will just keep on going.
So we're gonna wrap up this video. Thank you to all our subscribers.
Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment down below. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. We thank all the new subscribers. We've received quite a few over the past few weeks, and we thank everybody that has been a long-time subscriber and all the new subscribers as well. And we appreciate each and every one of your comments. We tried to get to each one with a reply. And keep in mind that we are working full-time at the same time. So we're trying to do a lot of things all at the same time.
One day.
Yeah, one day at a time, right? So anyways, we're really thankful. We're really blessed to be able to be doing this. And we're enjoying it all every step of the way. So just hang in there, and we will work our way through this. Thanks for watching. See ya. Stay tuned for next week. We have 6 boats on our list, and we make an offer on one of them. Which one will it be? Hold on tight. It's about to get fun. Thanks for watching.
Now there's a nice looking shell. I'd keep that one.
And what's that?
My idea. Oh, we got a boat coming. It's this guy. Nice. Dang. 5 engines on the back. That was sweet. Go for it.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, if you want. If not, I'll do it.
Hey. Welcome back to another episode of DIY Nautical Dream. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together,
we make DIY Nautical.
Just look at me when we say we're together. Just when you say I'm Rich, just look at right there. Okay. And then when we're together, look at me.
Take 2.
Yep. Hi guys.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Bug. There's a parasite flying through here.
Wow, really?
Okay.
That was really good.
Take 3.
Okay, not my fault. Hi guys.
Hey.
Welcome back to another episode of DIY Nautical Dream. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together
we... Okay, take 4.
Hi guys. Welcome back to another episode of DIY Nautical Dream. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together.
Alright, let's do this. Quit messing around, Nick. Take 5.
Yeah, dude, why? What's wrong?
What am I doing?
You're like... You're so delayed.
Well, because normally I'm used to like, I am Rich, and then we together, we're doing the same look, so. Alright, we got it. We got it this time.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to
Why laugh here? Hi, guys.
I'm not even laughing.
Okay. Settle down.
You do.
Take 10.
Yup. Hi guys. That's how you...
Yeah.
That's how you...
Hi guys.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hi guys.
Like it. Okay. Hi guys.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Yeah,
Then we're gonna run out of battery.
Yep.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Okay, serious this time.
Okay. Hi guys. Welcome back to another episode.
Dude, I had it all together this time. I was like totally good. Straight and narrow, man. Like.
Come on, once we started.
Alright, we're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Hi guys. Welcome back to another episode of DIY Nautical Dream. Dude, you're trying very hard not to laugh.
I was doing good. Alright.
Ah, man.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hi guys. Welcome back to another episode of DIY Nautical Dream. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together we make DIY Nautical Dream. So this week episode, we're gonna review the boat that was located in Everett, Washington, and it is 50 feet,
What?
1952.
Whoa. Why short the poor thing, man? It's just sitting there being a boat. Why you want to short it? Okay.
Take 20.
We'll roll with it. We can go with this.
Hi guys, welcome back.
No, we have a good intro. I can edit the intro after that part.
Okay.
Yeah, we just need to say this week's episode we're
Okay.
going to introduce a 1990 Endeavour 52. It's up in Everett, Washington.
Okay. So, this week episode we're gonna review the boat that was located at Everett, Washington, and it is 52 feet, 1920 Endeavour.
1920, that's kind of old.
1990.
You just said 1920.
Did I say that?
Yeah. We're not looking for 1920. That's going to be made out of like wood or something.
Okay. So this week episode we're gonna review the boat that was located at Everett, Washington. It is 1990, 52 feet Endeavour. Go ahead, honey.
Okay. So, like she said, it's a 1990 Endeavour. It's 52 feet. And it's a center cockpit, cutter rigged sloop. Sloop, cutter rigged, blah. What is it? Anyways, it's a 1990 Endeavour, 52 foot, center cockpit, and it's